Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to cover tonight, you guys are going to love. This is one of those things where the gun controller writes an article, they leave the door open, we bust it open like a bull, and then we just go to town. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below, and you are going to want to send this one out to anyone that you know in the gun world. And if you are new or you are returning, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and turning that notification bell on. We need as many people as we can to get in the fold so we can spread the message of the 2A and pass the blessing on to the next generation. And thank you so much in advance for your consideration. And if you have not seen Tim and I's new channel, Second Legacy, Tim from Military Arms Channel and I formed a longer form video channel, which is going to have lots of things. We're going to dive a lot deeper into the nuances of gun control versus gun rights, interviews, all sorts of things. I think you guys are really going to like it. It is linked down there. Thank you so much. If you could check it out, that'd be incredible. But I hope not to disappoint. This is going to be something that you guys are going to like, and let me know what you think in the comments field below. So this starts out like your run-of-the-mill gun control article and then takes a turn once you open a door, as I mentioned in the intro. A child shot his teacher. A 72-year-old man opened fire in public. Here's what this tells us about guns in America. Now, this article came out yesterday on Saturday, the 28th. Let me set this up for you. Quote, "It's guns. It's always been the guns," said Lisa Geller, a public health researcher at the Center for Gun Violence Solutions at Johns Hopkins University. Keep in mind, the Gun Violence Solutions Center at Johns Hopkins University is funded by Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg is the founder of Everytown for Gun Safety. It is a full, biased gun control source, just like the Gun Violence Solutions at Johns Hopkins. But anyway, let's keep going. I got to show you some things here. This is the final setup and where they open the door. While other wealthy countries have similar levels of interpersonal violence, which means fists, knives, bats, bludgeons, all the things, the United States stands alone when it comes to shootings. An average of 110 Americans die daily from gun violence, far above the rate of gun deaths for any comparable nation. The U.S. has about 12 gun deaths for every 100,000 residents, almost 4 times the rate of the next highest country, Switzerland, according to experts. And this is the point. They leverage Switzerland as an example of the nearest and closest. Well, what could be different in Switzerland that's different here, or that contrasts to here in the United States? Well, we're about to kick that wide open. We're going to walk right past the fact that those stats that they just gave you were a little misleading. Let's get into Switzerland. I'm going to do this quickly, and you tell me at what point the left would start to have a conniption around some of these policies. Switzerland has a stunningly high rate of gun ownership. Here's why it doesn't have mass situations. This was written on November 22nd, 2022, so a couple of months ago. Switzerland hasn't had a mass situation in 21 years. In the U.S., there's almost one every day, most recently in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The Swiss have strict rules for who can get a gun and take firearm training very seriously. Pause on that one. I'm going to show you some other things, and I'll show you what they're talking about, because it's not like that. Anyway, here we go. Do it quickly. The country has around 2 million privately owned guns in a nation of 8.3 million people. So you're sitting around 25% ownership. That's pretty strong. The country, in 2016, the country had 47 attempted homicides with firearms. The country's overall murder rate is near zero, with 2 million personally owned firearms. Keep in mind, the gun control argument is that we are a nation awash with gun violence because of an epidemic of firearms. We're awash in a toxic gun culture. That's what they'll have you believe. But 25% ownership in Switzerland, no, not the same. Well, let's dive into a few of the reasons why. Switzerland is obsessed with getting shooting right. Every year, it holds a shooting contest for kids aged 13 to 17. So you're getting training on safety, accuracy, and efficiency at 13 to 17. If your nearest gun controller's head is not exploding yet, wait till the next one, because so far we just introduced a cultural tie-in. Zurich's big party that I can't say is a traditional annual festival that dates back to the 1600s. It dates back to before our country was founded. That is cultural infusion. That is a centralized point of pride, very similar to the Second Amendment and freedom with a lot of our country. But if that wasn't enough, we've got more. Having an armed citizenry helped keep the Swiss neutral for more than 200 years. So, if you want to Ronald Reagan it, you could say peace through superior firepower. The Swiss stance is one of armed neutrality. Many Swiss see gun ownership as part of a patriotic duty to protect their homeland. So before I go to the last one, which is going to just... We've got 13 to 17-year-olds who have been trained and are efficient and are actually in a nationally held contest, 13 to 17. We have ownership by 25% of the population of Switzerland. You have a murder rate of near zero. and you have a party going back to the 1600s, which creates a cultural unity. Well, let's hit this last one and see what you guys think in the comments. Unlike the US, Switzerland has mandatory military service for men. The government gives all men between the ages of 18 and 34 deemed fit for service a pistol or a rifle and training on how to use them. So from the ages of adulthood, 18 to 34, the government of Switzerland gives its citizens rifle or pistol and trained, and they hold on to them 18 through 34. And at the end, this is the part where they say there's rigorous standards. After they finish their service, the men can typically buy and keep their service weapons, but they have to get a permit for them. And this is the part that I don't agree with, because they don't have a Second Amendment right written into a constitution like we do. The right to keep and bear arms is ours. It's not the government's, it is ours. Now, they have a permitting system. That's their thing, it's their country. That's not for us. But everything else, let me just recap one more time for you. 25% ownership, 13 to 17, nationally held shooting competition for youth. But that requires training, that requires safety, that requires a lot of things that we are advocates for on the gun rights side. Then you've got mandatory military service, 25% gun ownership, and a party of cultural infusion going back to the 1600s. So the next time that a gun control advocate says, well, what about Switzerland? You say, what about Switzerland? You pull up this video, you just send it to them, and you just sit back and watch with the popcorn. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you got a kick out of this delivery, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.